Liminal Luna Lens, Reflections from the In-Between, March 3rd, 2026, beginning at the end. Bringing Liminal Luna to life. Sometimes the most meaningful beginnings arrive quietly, at the very moment something else has ended. Some beginnings don't start with excitement or clear plans. They start with an ending, a moment when something familiar slips away and life feels briefly suspended in the space between what was and what comes next. Liminal Luna grew from that space. For me, that moment came just before Christmas when I lost my horse Pusher. 31 years, that's a long time for a presence to feel permanent, long enough that it's difficult to imagine the landscape of your days without it. Grief doesn't always arrive all at once. Sometimes it moves quietly through the weeks that follow, appearing in small moments you didn't expect. A quiet morning, an empty pasture, a memory that suddenly feels closer than it did before. In the middle of those moments, I found myself reaching for a place to sit with what was changing. Not to solve it, not to rush clarity, just listen. Through the lens. The weeks leading up to March 3rd felt suspended between seasons. Winter was still firmly here in Vermont, snow resting quietly on the fields, the sky heavy with the kind of light that only appears at the end of a long season. But there were small signs of change, too. Longer evenings, the sense that something was shifting beneath the surface. That feeling, the space between what has ended and what has not yet fully begun, is exactly what Liminal Luna is meant to hold. It's a place for journaling, for noticing patterns, for listening to the quiet questions that appear during moments of transition. Not a place for answers, a place for listening. It was around January 5th when I came across the word liminal for the first time. That word described the space between what was and what was coming next. It's a threshold, it's a transition, a moment when the old shape of things has shifted but the new one hasn't fully arrived yet. And when I read that definition, something clicked in me, because that's exactly where I found myself, standing in a place where something had clearly changed, but the path forward wasn't fully visible yet. Liminal Luna. A quiet companion for those moments when we find ourselves in the in-between. Once the idea took hold, well, things began to move surprisingly quickly. I had never written any code before, but piece by piece, the framework began to take shape. A short daily check-in, a listening system designed to notice patterns in how someone is feeling. Eventually, that system grew to include 137 recordings, each designed to respond to the different ways someone might answer that brief check-in. And then two paths began to emerge. Journey, a space for daily reflection and noticing, and Quest, a deeper experience offering personalized audio meditations, thoughtfully selected based on your responses to the daily check-in. Each one meant to meet you exactly where you are, exactly in that moment. When Liminal Luna first began to take shape, I realized I wanted something I could turn to whenever I needed a moment of orientation. In between counseling sessions, in between difficult conversations with coworkers, in between those unexpected waves of grief that can arrive without warning. Not something that would tell me what to think or feel, just a place to pause long enough to listen to what might already be there. The more detailed programming that supports Liminal Luna today came together thanks to the big help of my sweetheart, Vinny, at Fine Web Help, whose help has brought the technical pieces to life so the listening system could truly work as intended. What began as a quiet idea in early January became something real by March 3rd, 2026. Which still feels really astonishing. It happens so fast. But perhaps that's the nature of liminal spaces. Sometimes when we're standing in the in-between, things can shift more quickly than we expect. Liminal Luna listens. If you were to look back on the past year, what moment quietly changed something inside of you? Take a few minutes with your journal and write about what shifted. And what did that reveal? Liminal Luna was never meant to be a place that provides answers. Life rarely works that way. Instead, it's a small space to pause in the middle of everything that's changing, to notice patterns, sit with questions, and listen for what might already be quietly forming within you. Because the in-between moments of life are often where the most important shifts begin. And when you're ready, Liminal Luna's ready to listen.